Today we're going to be talking about the factor analysis on college graduation rates. So for our first question, we wanted to figure out if students receiving financial aid had higher graduation rates. So for our first scatter plot, we plotted the average amount of aid along the x-axis and graduation rate along the y-axis. And it appears that there is a positive association between the two variables. But taking a look at the second plot, we see that SAT value might have an effect on this, as higher SAT values seem to result in higher amounts of aid and higher graduation rates. The second financial aid factor that we looked at was the Pell Award, which is given to primarily low-income families. And the higher proportion of Pell Award recipients seem to result in lower graduation rates for those schools. But once again, if we take a look at the SAT score, it seems that the higher SAT scores result in higher graduation rates. So looking at SAT score alone against graduation rate, it seems that there is this very strong positive correlation between the two factors.
For our second question, we focus on institutional factors because we consider financial aid to be more student-related. So we also want to examine if institutions with certain characteristics have higher graduation rates. So the three factors we look at include level, 4-year versus 2-year, flagship versus non-flagship, and control, public, private, not-for-profit, private for-profit, and public schools. And then we take a closer look at the combined effects of the three factors. And then this is a packed bubble graph where it shows that if an institution is in a privileged position in at least one of the three factors, if it's either 4-year or private, not-for-profit, or flagship university, then it obviously has a larger, higher graduation rates, as we see more blue points on the center and then more red points and then slower ones on the outside, meaning lower graduation rates. And our third question takes a look at HBCU effect. What is graduation rates like for historically black colleges and universities? And then later, we take student race as a second factor, combined with HBCU effect, would be able to compare graduation rates for African American students who go to HBCU schools versus those are not. And then we found out that students who go to HBCU schools, like those African American students, have visibly higher rank in terms of graduation rates among all races.
We felt that this analysis was important because it applies to a lot of people currently, as we are both obviously college students, and will apply to plenty of people in the future as they are applying to their college of choice. But thank you for listening.